One eclipse down, one to go. How we feeling? We are fresh off the heels of the Pisces lunar eclipse, and now the moon sheds its light in preparation of next week's eclipse, the solar eclipse in Virgo on September 21st, 2025. And even though we do not have an eclipse in this week's horoscope, there is an eclipse season charged in the air. Do you feel it? We are in this portal between eclipses, and thus there is more than meets the eye to everything that is occurring within your reality. Pay attention. The eclipse window is open. And so what is being swept into your life and what is being swept out of your life is no accident. Everything has a charge of destiny and synchronicity and fate, even if it is not visible at this point in time. I remember at some sort of astrology meeting or club I went to, because I go to quite a bit, but unfortunately I've been to so many throughout the years that I don't exactly remember what I heard from who. It could have absolutely been at United Astrology Conference. It could have absolutely been at the Astrological Society. But I remember an astrologer talking about how she pays special attention to the news that breaks around an eclipse. And at that point in time, it was a while ago, it was a little piece of news that spoke about artificial intelligence and robotics. And it was just like a glimmer at that time. She said that she always pays attention to the little bits of news that come into the public lexicon in order to see what may build in importance as we walk more and more through time. And even outside of what we are viewing societally, like absolutely pay attention to news that is breaking, but also pay attention to the news that is breaking within your life. Headline, this just in, you need a root canal. Or on a more positive note, not to put any of that out there, this just in, a new yoga studio opened up in your neighborhood and you're so excited to check it out. Pay attention to the headlines within your world, as well as those small stories where it's like, oh, well, it's just a yoga studio that's opening up within my town. Oh, it's just a root canal. You never know how things will continue to build. You never know how the story will continue to unfold, how that article at the bottom of the newspaper will begin to get bigger and bigger font and go to the top and the top of the front page. Are you paying attention? If you don't read the newspaper of your life, if you just kind of skim it and then throw it to the side, you could brush a lot of things off as just a coincidence. Or it's Virgo season, just something small. It's just a yoga studio. It's just a root canal. It's just a stranger that I met. It's just a happening that occurred at work. Are you paying attention? Eclipses don't just speak to us in terms of the major shockwaves that electrify the collective as well as electrify your world. Eclipses also speak into the fated occurrences and events that happen that can be signaling a much bigger story. Are you paying attention? Really journal and observe what is coming up for you right now, because it can be signifying where your own personal cosmic cycles are going. And so much of our experiences as humans, of course, some of us are navigating huge changes, breakups and moves and brand new journeys that you're setting off on and old journeys that you are walking away from. But it's also within how it is that we relate to the minutia within our life around, yes, this root canal is not ideal, but us scheduling it and moving towards it represents a new season of our life in which we are tackling problems head on. We are not escaping. We are not avoiding with Saturn now in Pisces. We are tackling this head on. And this is indicative of a new season that we're stepping into. It's not just a yoga studio. This could be a new community that you're stepping into, even connecting to a new side of yourself, being committed to diving within yourself. Just because you are not being eclipsed, which is when a major cycle is thrust upon you, does not mean that these eclipses are not weaving into your reality with their own brand of magic and mysticism. If we are able to view it from a higher perspective, which truly is the ask with North Node in Pisces. Because when it comes to Virgo season, you could be looking at a detail-oriented lens over your life, observing how messy your home is, observing how many errands you need to get done, observing certain health issues that are alive within your world or your family's world, observing what needs to be fixed, what needs to be repaired. And we can get so lost within that minutia that we forget to take a step back and view things from above. That's really the ask, both with North Node in Pisces, as well as knowing that we are in eclipse season. And it's going to be a full-time job to really work the muscle of whatever grants you a sense of peace, a sense of serenity, a sense of acceptance around not freaking out. I do need to mention our minds can get a little wacky during eclipse season. Okay, I'll just say it. My mentor would call it eclipse brain. Again, the word lunatic contains the word luna. Full moons tend to kind of make our minds a little haywire. And we are fresh off the heels of that lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is like a full moon on steroids. That's what eclipses are, or lunations that are even more pronounced. So it's also important to mention that you could just be feeling a little scattered, a little mentally disturbed, a little anxious, restless. So it's going to be important where it is that you can view things from above, as well as for this week's astrology, doing whatever is necessary to soothe, to nourish, to anchor, to ground in order to integrate what is coming up for you. So as always, I'm here in my cosmic corner of the internet to talk you through the astrology of the week of September 8th until September 14th, 2025, and particularly looking at this week's cosmic sky through the lens of co-creation, how it is that you can empower yourself utilizing this astrology, how it is that you can bob and weave with what the cosmos is throwing at you, because lately it's been quite a bit. But I'm here as your cosmic co-pilot, so to speak, every single Sunday here in my cosmic corner of the internet on YouTube or anywhere where you stream podcasts. And however it is that you are listening, whether you are driving, cleaning, running errands, walking outside, it's Virgo season. So I know a lot of my cosmic collective is busy right now, but hopefully not too busy for a delightful beverage. Take a step inside my cosmic cafe. Let me know what you are sipping on if you happen to have a beverage by you as you are running errands and cleaning and working out and all of the things. This week, I'm serving up in my cosmic cafe a vanilla chai latte. Iced, of course, and absolutely delightful. So let me know what you are sipping on to start your eclipse season week. I would love to know how you are doing. Are you feeling any of this eclipse brain energy? Are you feeling more restless, agitated, emotional, activated? Is your chart impacted? The Pisces lunar eclipse video is live on the channel. I'll drop the link for it below. And then the Virgo solar eclipse all signs forecast, fingers crossed, and I'm truly genuinely praying that this will be true, is allegedly going to be live on Friday, September 12th, 2025. So hopefully by this weekend. But I say allegedly, and I call upon the divine to help me, because it really is going to be a miracle if that video gets up at that particular date and time. But I believe in miracles. I do think there's elements of that lunar eclipse in Pisces, trining Jupiter in Cancer, that believes in miracles as well. And the reason I say this is because I knew the lunar eclipse in Pisces was going to be more influential for me. It landed on my Venus within a degree. So as an astrologer, I've been clocking this eclipse. Even months ago, I was like, I wonder what's going to come up. And I knew something significant was going to occur. And I knew, obviously, given where it is within my chart, which houses within my chart have Venus as the ruler. I had themes of what could potentially surface. And naturally, as humans, as astrologers, we start envisioning what could come up. Naturally, for me as a Pisces, I start romanticizing what could have came up. And nothing could have possibly prepared me for what actually did come up. And I feel like that's always the case with eclipses for me, is that it does tend to take you by surprise. You can have all of the astrological data, you can have all of the knowledge, and there still will be parts of this human experience that catch you by surprise. This one most certainly did. And in typical eclipse fashion, it all moved very fast. And like we talked about that lunar eclipse in Pisces opposing Mercury in Virgo, we so want to dissect dissect things and analyze things as all good and all bad when life is messy. Life is in the in-between with the lunar eclipse in Pisces, North Node in Pisces. And that is absolutely what showed up for me. There's elements of what is going on that I could deem as very bad, and elements of what's going on that I could deem as exciting, new beginning. I will go into more detail in a future Magic Monday, but what you need to know right now is that the events that transpired required me to basically wipe out my entire September calendar. Like within the past week, I had to fundamentally rearrange everything about September because I'm not going to be here due to everything that is transpiring. And again, part of it is not great, part of it is very great, part of it is a grieving, part of it is a letting go. And then there's other parts of what's transpiring that are exciting. That is a new beginning. And I will, of course, go into more detail on that. But what you need to know right now is that I had to clear September's calendar because I'm quite literally on the road. I'm going on a road trip across the USA. Again, we will talk about why. I know that seems so random. It was random for me as well. This all got planned within the past week. So I'm going on a road trip across the USA, truly from Iowa to San Diego. So I just don't know how road trip plus editing is going to go. And because the elements of what is prompting the road trip were unexpected and out of left field, there was no way I could have possibly prepared for my September calendar to need to be wiped. So it's a lot of pre-filming before I set off on the open road, but I'm going to work my absolute hardest to keep up with my filming schedule and my upload schedule. But I will, of course, talk to you guys more about what is prompting the road trip, why I'm going on the road trip, what is occurring within the road trip, and then how the road trip is. I'll keep you guys posted here in the Cosmic Cafe. We chit-chat, we catch up, what's coming up for us, these eclipses. And it's so funny because if you watch me, if you listen to me, you know I'm big on our lives need to continue on. Like if you need to sign something during Mercury retrograde, obviously we can have the astrological understanding that it's probably not ideal, but it's like your life still needs to life. We cannot find the perfect sky for everything because sometimes the sky, the astrology is just reflecting the imperfection of what's going on because we live in this imperfect world. And typically eclipses, I try and I strive to lay low. I try not to be doing too much. And now I'm literally doing the most. So again, I don't think we need to pause life or cancel life during eclipse season. Do I think it's a lovely opportunity to meditate and to reflect and to observe what's showing up? Is there traditional understanding and folklore around eclipses being a time to hide away, to not go outside? Yes, but again, within this modern day and age, we need to live our lives. And I'm not only going outside, I'm going to be on the open road. In this portal between eclipses, I'll be somewhere between Iowa and San Diego. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. But let's go ahead and take it back to this week's astrology in our vibe check of the week. So if you are new here, hi, welcome to Magic Monday. We have a segment here called Vibe Check of the Week. And this is your celestial snapshot to the energetics of the week without the astrological jargon. Basically, if we were to take what is occurring this week, Sun conjunct Mercury in Virgo, the Mercury Cazimi sextile Jupiter in Cancer, the last quarter moon in Gemini, in between eclipses. If you are not familiar with these buzzwords and what they mean for our life down here on planet Earth, this is essentially a metaphoric storytelling device to bring a scenario that could transpire given this astrology. I'm not implying that this exact situation will surface within your life. I hope it does. For each and every one of us, I'll get into why, but it is not saying that it is literally happening. Just take it symbolically. And I say that I hope that it does because this week's astrology is about cleaning. I know, very Virgo season. And given the conversation we just had around, your life has to go on. There's a lot of traditional and ancient understanding around eclipses that are a bit scary. There's a lot of different understanding around eclipses. Like I said, people would not even go outside during eclipses. And again, your life needs to continue on. Some of us are going on an impromptu road trip outside. Life needs to go on. But a part of eclipse season is that it's typically not the time that I would recommend, given my astrological study, doing a lot of rituals or spells or things like that. If that is within your practice, your culture, your upbringing, go for it. I'm just saying, if you are not as familiar with eclipses, I typically recommend see what comes up, meditate. Don't feel like you have to do all of these rituals or all of this intention setting. But the ritual that I wholeheartedly Comet cosign is cleaning. And cleaning is a ritual. Cleaning is one of the most potent spells that you can ever cast. There's a reason why witches ride broomsticks, okay? When you are cleaning, you are fundamentally shifting and manipulating the energy. That's really what spells and rituals are. And Virgo season reminds us there's magic within the mundane. You can look at cleaning your home like something else that you have to do. Because again, Virgo season draws our awareness to a lot of things that we have to do. I have to get the root canal. I have to go to yoga. I have to go to this work event. I have to pick up my kids. It's like all of this have to things. And there's also an opportunity to see, I get to have this home to take care of and to nurture. I get to pick up my kids from school. I get to go to this work event. It's going to be important, especially with the Jupiter aspects this week, to really see the beauty from it around, yes, it is an errand. It's a task. Much of it can seem boring or obligatory. Oh God, it's Virgo season. And you know it's Virgo season because the grammar police starts showing up in my comments on TikTok and YouTube. You know it's Virgo season when people are correcting my grammar and pronunciation in the comments. So obligatory. So sorry. And I don't mean that in a snarky way at all. I genuinely do appreciate it. I've shared this before, but I have always been a voracious reader, so most words I know through reading, not listening to them. Same goes with some astrology terms. It was like interesting starting to, work with a mentor and go to astrology clubs and whatnot, because most of the words I had only read, not really heard a whole lot. So I do deeply appreciate it. Like, quick shout out to Shanae for letting me know the proper usage of alas. I will always appreciate that. So I do appreciate to be called out when it comes up, but you just gotta laugh. Like, astrology is so real, because I swear it's like clockwork. Every time Virgo season comes around, I start seeing way more comments around my grammar and my pronunciation than typical. And listen, I've got Virgo placements. My superpower is that I can go into any restaurant, look at any menu, and find a typo. It's actually a game I play, is that I won't even consider what I want to eat until I find at least one or two typos within the menu. My mind just like zeroes in on typos, and it's like the most useless superpower ever. But it is a skill, Virgo placements and the attunement to details. So however it is that you say obligatory, we can view a lot of our lives like that. And the Virgo Sun, Virgo Mercury, sextile Jupiter in Cancer reminds us to really honor the emotional or spiritual value embedded within these acts around it is not just cleaning your home. It is, like I said, a form of spell work, a ritual, releasing the old, cleansing away the old, inviting in the new. It is not just getting this dental work done. It is investing within your well-being so that you can eat and smile and navigate the world. It is not just taking your children to and from school, another thing to do. It is fundamentally supporting their education and their growth. There is an ask, like we were talking about with North Node and Pisces, around viewing things from the higher perspective. So to tell a story with this week's vibe check, we will say that life is a little chaotic. I think a lot of us can relate to that with it being eclipse season. And there's just so many different people that are wanting to get a hold of you. There's so much going on. Work is crazy busy. Your kids are back to school. There's a leak in the house that you have to get fixed. And the home is a mess. And you have a day in which there's so much that you could be doing, but you decide, I cannot deal with any of this if my home base is not clean. What is happening within your physical environment does reflect what is happening within your life. And so if your life is feeling very messy and chaotic, oftentimes that will be reflected within your home around things all over the place. And of course, with those of you with kids, it's like sometimes that's just the baseline or that's just how it needs to go. But there is an ask where it is that in Virgo season, mentality, we can purify, we can cleanse, and we can allow, by doing so, fresh new energy into our lives with the sextile to Jupiter in Cancer. There is something about this week's astrology around opening the window. And I don't just mean the eclipse window of fate, where fated events are coming in and fated things are leaving. I mean also just like letting fresh air in, cleaning and decluttering and releasing. And so we will say on this day, you're like, I need to deep clean this home. There is so much that is fighting for my attention, but this is my priority. I cannot meet any of that unless I am feeling somewhat supported or nourished by my environment. So we will say that you have a day where you put on audiobooks or inspirational podcasts and you clean your home. And before you do this, your mind feels as messy as your house is, right? You're going around, you're like, what to even start with? The kids' toys are all over. There's laundry that needs to be done. I have to do this. I have to do this. Your mind just feels frazzled and all over the place, which is very appropriate with eclipse season. Last week, we had Mercury in Virgo square Uranus. Sometimes we can feel pretty scattered. We can feel the eclipse brain, and it's hard for you to even get in the flow of cleaning because you're so distracted by everything that is going on. But eventually, as you take on one thing at a time, as you open the window, as you listen to some inspirational audiobooks or an inspiring podcast, slowly and surely order is being returned. And with every spider web that you dust away, with every baseboard that you scrub, with every toy that you put away, a little bit more peace and calm is returning to your mind. And it's important to know that when we have these days in which we press pause on the outside world, because I do encourage doing that during eclipse season, because things can just be kind of chaotic and intense, and it's important to come back into your own energy in order to hear your soul speak, in order to navigate it all. It's not that it changes anything. It's not that this day with your phone on Do Not Disturb made all of the work get accomplished and fix the leak that you're experiencing. It's not that it fundamentally fixes the problem, but it fixes the mind that can solve the problem. Or at least puts you in the state of mind in which you are able to focus, in which you are able to assess, in which you are able to attend to all of the various arenas of life that may be pulling on your attention. And like I said, especially with Jupiter in Cancer, there is a reflection to what is happening within your home is what is happening within your life. This is the principles essentially of feng shui, of which I am not a expert in, but I do want to share from an energetic perspective why cleaning is such a potent form of spell work is because if you feel like your life is messy and your house is messy, that's when it's time to declutter. You need to look at less stuff. If you have a lot of clutter and a lot that is competing for your attention, a lot of times that feeling of being overstimulated or feeling like things are very messy will follow you within your life at large. So declutter, put away the tchotchkes, have less for your brain to take in will help to simplify, to streamline, and to focus. Let's say your life doesn't necessarily feel messy, but it feels stagnant, right? That opening of the window sensation, like allowing fresh new energy into your home. And as you're allowing the breeze into your home, it's also time to find forgotten corners of your home, like random surfaces or corners that are attracting cobwebs or dust. It's time to dust away any stagnancy or anything that's been accumulating dust that's been stuck. Also, rearranging your furniture could be helpful for that, or even swapping out some artwork can be helpful so that you're seeing different things and there is this energy of a new flow within your life. If you feel like things are really dense, if you feel like things are really heavy and layered, it's time to deep clean. Like I'm talking scrub random gunk that you find within places to invite less gunk within your life. It's potent to view it that way. And that's where we turn cleaning into a ritual, or anything else that you do into a ritual, is when you assign a meaning to it. Because you could just look at it around, oh, I have to scrub this gunk. Oh, I have to dust these cobwebs. Oh, I have to declutter. I have to put away my tchotchkes, my knickknacks that are all over my desk. Like you can view it as just that, or you can view it as I am fundamentally inviting in fresh new energy. I am fundamentally inviting in clarity and simplicity. I am fundamentally inviting lightness into my life. And when you apply it spiritually, soulfully to the physical act of doing it, Sun and Mercury in Virgo, sextile Jupiter in Cancer, that's where it turns into magic. That's where it turns into a ritual. And so we'll say within this vibe check, that is how you are taking on every room that you are cleaning, when you're putting away your kids' toys, you are like, I am allowing my children joy and play because they will know exactly where their toys are. Or when you're washing your makeup brushes or organizing your vanity, I'm fundamentally creating an environment that is conducive for glamour and beauty. When you are color coding your bookshelf, you know, some of us can get into some Virgo season projects like that. You can turn anything into a ritual. And when I say that I don't recommend rituals and spell work, I mean more so around feeling like you need to go out and buy all of these candles. Obviously, there's potency within these charged items and within these practices and these rituals. But where do you think they all came from? Like, people went with their own intuition. They went with what felt right to them, and they created their own ritual. Jupiter in Cancer wants you to listen to your intuition and trust it, and maybe create your own little rituals, your own little spell. And so we'll say within the vibe check, you clean your home. And of course, there's always more that can be done. You see, ooh, we do need to paint that. And oh, I do need to organize that. Or we probably should find another use for some of those half-used shampoos that are within the bathroom. There's always more that can be done, but you feel like the energy has shifted and your life is still busy. There's still a lot going on. It is eclipse season after all, but you feel like you're in the proper space to handle it. Mental space, because you just feel less overstimulated by your environment, but also your soul space, because you did something that not only nurtured your home, but also nurtured your spirit and brought some fresh new air in. There really is something about this week's astrology around opening a window and taking a deep breath. Feeling the wind on your skin, feeling the breeze blow new into your life, and feeling how that breeze makes its way around your physical environment and invites in the flow of new into your home, but also into your life, into your spirit. So we will go ahead and take it into our day-by-day analysis. I want to give a reminder that when it comes to my weekly forecast, I give them and deliver them in the time zone PDT. So please adjust to your local time zone if you are located elsewhere in the world than I am. And let's go ahead and take it into the astrology for Monday, September 8th. Oh my God, I can't believe my vanilla chai is already gone. That did not last long. That did not last long. Oh my God. Should I give it another chai? I probably shouldn't say that, huh? So on Monday, September 8th, I want to highlight firstly that yesterday's lunar eclipse in Pisces energy may very well still be hanging in the air today. So make sure to get caught up on the lunar eclipse in Pisces. All signs forecast drop below, and know that that energy is still activated and alive, and you could feel a bit hungover. Whether it's like physically hungover or also like emotionally hungover. You know, that energy after you've cried a bunch, and that feeling of, yes, feeling a little bit lighter, but also drained, and you have a little bit of a headache. That's what you could be feeling. And around full moon weeks, it does tend to be quite busy. So you could have had a busy week, a lot going on, and feeling quite a lot. It's a lunar eclipse in Pisces, not just feeling your own emotions and feeling for other people as well. We'll say our protagonists within the vibe check, as you are cleaning and scrubbing and organizing and doing all of the things in between audiobooks and podcasts. You're also listening to songs, and certain songs make you cry because you're thinking about your children getting older. You're thinking around certain elements of your childhood. Again, Pisces feels all of the things. It's not just a song, it's like a whole experience. And so you could be surprised as you're scrubbing and tears spring to your eyes as you listen to a certain line. Music is absolutely a way of channeling. There will be certain times that you listen to a song and it doesn't affect you at all. And then just a certain line will stick out to you, or even a certain song will be stuck in your head that really feels reminiscent of a certain situation that you are navigating through, or you learn a backstory on a certain song and then the way that you listen to it completely changes and it just takes you away into this other world. Very Pisces lunar eclipse. And it can be magical to interact with the world that way, finding the deeper levels of emotion and meaning within it. But sometimes it can create some overwhelming feelings where it's like, I'm just trying to clean my house and now here I am crying on my kitchen floor because I'm thinking about this experience that this song brings me back to. Like, it's exhausting to feel so deeply. I always joke that being a Pisces is a full-time job in and of itself. And the full moon in Pisces could have just really made you observe the bigger picture. Because when we view things from the higher perspective, sometimes it can be freeing and sometimes it can be saddening. Like you can have a certain experience where you driving your kids somewhere, running an errand with your parents. And again, viewing the higher perspective can be helpful to see like, okay, but they're not going to be this age forever. And I'm not going to have my parents here forever. Like sometimes that can help us really appreciate and see the magic within these moments. But then sometimes that could be depressing around my kids are going to be this age forever. My parents are going to be here one day. Like sometimes that higher perspective can be saddening, just contemplating all of the deeper layers that are embedded and hidden within each typical moment that we have. But then you almost need a higher perspective on that to realize like soulfully and spiritually, it's really not so serious. Of course, it's saddening. It's heartbreaking. There's grief within this experience. There's sadness within this experience. There's so much into this experience, but it can be helped to view it from a soul level around. None of us are getting out of this experience alive, and to a soul level, it is all good. I lived this vibe check yesterday, minus the kids. I deep cleaned my home. And as I was cleaning, I was listening to different YouTube videos and podcasts from mediums. Some of you may know I used to be the assistant of a medium, so I would travel with her, and she's incredible. She's so tapped in. She's so knowledgeable. Her name is Austin Wells. I'll drop her information below. And she's just such a kind, genuine human. I really loved working for her. But she really opened me up to the whole medium community. Just to be very clear, I'm not a medium. What I really have learned from the media that I consume now from mediums and the communication I had with mediums then is just the Jupiterian side of death and loss, which of course, when we think of death and loss, we typically think Pluto, right? But this lunar eclipse trines Jupiter, and Jupiter actually, yes, it's beneficial and it's auspicious, but Jupiter is a planet that can indicate freeing. And so when we think about transitioning, it's like freeing ourselves from this physical form, which again can feel a little scary. And again, I don't mean this in a morbid way, like you came here for a reason, so you should stay for a reason. But passing on can be something Jupiterian in terms of freeing ourselves from like the pain of these physical bodies and from the density of this physical planet. And from a soul level, from a higher perspective, in many ways, those who have passed on are in the state of peace and are supporting you in terms of how it is that you live on and how it is that you interact day to day. And so I will say it is content that I'm drawn to in order to go to that perspective. Again, I'm not forcing anyone to be there if you're not ready to be there or if that does not align with your own belief system. But it has helped me no longer fear death as much, as well as just view this whole experience called life around, okay, I came here for a reason, this soul within this physical body, I'm staying for a reason. And where is it that I can really show up to do what it is that I came here to do, and to remember that from the bigger perspective. So some of you could even be navigating that, or even just like receiving a certain sign from somebody from the other side, where you think of them and then you hear a song that always makes you think of them, or you smell blueberry pie just like they always used to make, and you're just like reminded that our souls, our energy is not just neatly limited to these physical vessels. Of course, when someone passes on, we miss the physical experience of hugging them and being with them, but their energy is here and is supporting you. And so some of you could even just feel that in terms of just getting a little sign, just getting a little wink. We'll say as you clean the house, you find some belongings from your grandmother, and something that she wrote within one of your birthday cards is exactly what you need to hear right now around your work issue. And even though she's not here anymore, it's like feeling that support, feeling that wisdom from the other side. Like that could also be coming through. So some of you could feel something like that also alive. What a way to start your Monday. Right? That won't be the case for everybody, but it's just knowing that you are supported from a higher perspective, if not from your ancestors and those who have passed on, most certainly from the archangels, most certainly from the universe, your higher power at large. There's so much support, especially in those hard moments. I want to share that because in the morning at 10:44 a.m., the Pisces moon will align with Saturn in Pisces, which can feel, for lack of a better word, quite depressing. Life is hard. Life is dense. And, grief is just always something that's there. And so when hard things are happening within your life, there's this other layer to it around, gosh, the person I would like to vent about this with isn't here. Or if I were to call grandma right now, she would know just what to say. Or gosh, and now I'm going through this breakup and I don't know who to call. Like, it just adds another layer because it's the hard experience of this life and then this other layer, which again, it's not going to be for every single person, but I just feel like it may be alive for some. There just could be something on Monday that's hard. You could feel little depressed. You could feel really heavy. Saturn is currently positioned at the 29th degree, which is the anaretic degree. And this is the final degree of the final sign of the zodiac. It is layered. And so something could just feel really heavy, really depressing. And emotionally, you could be really feeling that. And it's just important to cry if you feel like you need to cry. It really is a release for your body to cry, to get that out of your system. That's why a lot of times when you laugh after you cry, you do feel a sense of feeling lighter. And so if your body wants to cry, if a certain song comes on and you feel tears spring to your eyes, like allowing it to flow. And it's not to say that everybody will be necessarily in the sad energy. It could just be feeling all of the things, right? And again, it's like nothing is ever neatly sequestered to being fully good or fully bad. Like Pisces is just the mixture of all of it around this soulful experience. We could deem something as a positive experience or a negative experience, but there's elements of some positive lessons that we're able to extract from a negative experience or some negative components to something within our life that is more positive. Like it's just murky, it's messy. And so you could be feeling that in the morning time. The moon enters Aries, which, yes, is around initiation and starting and individuality. I will say currently our Aries moons, especially in the very beginning of them, are taking on a little bit more of a sensitive tone because right when the moon enters Aries, it builds to align with Neptune. That exacts at 133. So you could be feeling a little overwhelmed again with your stuff, with other people's stuff. Focus could be a challenge. Again, full moon energy. We could just feel like frazzled, frantic, kind of all over the place. You also could feel more psychic, more intuitive. Again, Neptune fades and fogs any bounds between. It blurs lines. So sometimes we could blur lines and just like kind of pull things from the ether with relative ease. And again, that could show up in many different forms. Some of it very typical. Finding a card can be divination. Shuffling your music library and the song that it lands on, speaking to your soul, could be a form of divination. Going up to your bookshelf and opening a book and saying this will be a message I'm meant to read can be a form of divination. So it's just honoring where you're pulling messages that really resonate around your journey. And knowing that with Neptune and Aries, not discounting your ability to do that for yourself. We tend to not value our intuition as much and outsource that to other individuals. And again, there's a lot of amazing practitioners out there who are quite gifted and who have refined their gifts. But it's also knowing that you are a conduit, you are a channel, and you do have the ability to tap in and to grab information that is helpful for you, at this particular moment in time. Again, we can feel like we want to know everything that is going to unfold, but Aries brings in this energy of immediacy around what will support me within my journey right now, within this present moment, and how can I be fully and ferociously, weird word, but fully and ferociously here while honoring the knowledge that is supporting me within where it is that I am now here. I want to read. This is Tarot Original 1909, a book by Sasha Graham. I want to read a portion from the Queen of Wands passage because it really spoke to me. I posted it on my Instagram, by the way, which is at Haley Comet Astrology. If you don't follow me there, I deeply recommend it. But it just spoke to me. I pull a card every single morning is like energy that's helpful for me to know stepping into that day, right? That present moment. Aries energy brings in the energy of immediacy, which this passage reflects. The Queen of Wands has an ease of place because she owns everywhere she goes. She doesn't do this by staking her claim, drawing boundary lines. She owns every space by embracing what surrounds her. She aligns herself with the present moment and whatever came before her. She is not concerned with the past, by what's happened, or by what she has lost. She cares little for the future because she knows it is always out of reach. Instead, she dives deep into whatever is surrounding her in the present moment. And I love that so much because eclipse season really is this state of surrender where it's like we really cannot control the future, right? I could have planned the most beautiful September ever, and all of those plans are down the drain because of what came about. And there's just like an energy of acceptance around, okay, here I am, and tapping into our power by being fully here again, where we could grieve the past, what we have lost, what was here that is no longer, but observing how that has brought you to this present moment, how the people who have passed on, they live through you and within you through your memory of them and your honoring of them and tapping into the qualities that you have that they reflected to you and their support of you. It's honoring everything that, of course, has you to this present moment, but being fully here, enmeshed in here, because that's where your power is, especially during eclipse season, because we just can't see too far out. Things are constantly changing in eclipse season. And so other lunar aspects on Monday, the Aries sun will also sextile Uranus and Gemini, and sextile Pluto and Aquarius. So definitely being open to all sorts of messages that come through. Own your own agency around what resonates for you and what does not. There's a reason why many readers will say, take what works, leave the rest. Trust your own ability to be the leader of your life. You know, nobody could be the leader of your life. That was assigned to you at birth. That is your birthright, to be the human that you are now and to take agency over your decisions. So it's not feeling like anybody has the power to dictate what is fully true for you. Honor, does this resonate for me? Does this feel good within my body? Does this bring me more peace, more lightness, more clarity, or does it bring me more fear and doom? It's also important to honor your own intuition when intaking certain messages. And I mean that psychically, but also if you feel like someone's lying to you or something like this, like really honoring your own gut, really, that first instinct. They say your first feeling, your first thought that comes through is the right one. And the second voice that comes is the voice of fear. So trusting your first gut instinct. I will also say, in a co-creative lens, with the Aries moon, sextile Uranus, sextile Pluto, something new could happen at any point in time. Your life could change in an instant. So it's just remembering that and trusting that that moment in which everything changes will arrive when it's meant to. So just be here, tap into the magnetism that comes from fully embracing what surrounds you right here, right now. On Tuesday, September 9th, the moon is in Aries all day. It trines Venus in Leo in the evening time, which can be creative, charismatic, confident energy. Again, much like that Queen of Wands passage that we read yesterday, owning this moment and what excites you within it completely and utilizing every moment as an opportunity to create, to express yourself. You can view the task of cleaning your home as boring and tiresome and mundane, or you can utilize it as an opportunity to create, to express yourself via the artwork that you swap out or the rearranging that you go about, anything like that. To a very practical level, you can be feeling more reactive. I want to share that. We're fresh off the heels of the full moon in Pisces, the lunar eclipse in Pisces, which does intensify emotions. And with the Aries moon, we could be more inclined to react at the drop of the hat, especially if you feel disrespected with the trine to Venus and Leo. But with this landing in the evening time, in my time zone, this would be a really lovely opportunity to make a nice meal, to try not to rush through it. You know, Aries energy tends to want everything that happened yesterday, but an invitation to create, to enjoy. The Aries moon then builds to square Jupiter in Cancer and oppose who it's answering to, Mars in Libra, activating that aspect from last week, Mars in Libra squaring Jupiter in Cancer, which can just represent that moment when you feel kind of overstimulated or your energy is drawn in many different directions and you accidentally snap at someone just because you are frustrated, not with them, but with the situation at hand. This would be the energy when you're knee deep in all of these different projects and then one of your kids or your partner or something like this comes up to you like, hey, do you know where this is? And you just snap or a little snappy or reactive just because your energy is scattered in many different directions. It can be something like that, or even as minor as you're doing something on your phone, you're replying to an important work email or something like this. There are important messages and communication information coming in this week with the Mercury Cazimi over the weekend. We'll of course talk about it. And your partner is wanting your attention or your children are wanting your attention. It just feels like a fight for your attention. You could be a little snappy or reactive around, okay, there's only one of me. I can't reply to this email and talk to you and do this and do that. So you can just feel pulled, or maybe just you feeling pulled around the various arenas, components of your life. And we are welcoming a newcomer into the cosmic corner of the internet. Yes, we are on our second beverage. We're only to Tuesday, and we are indeed on our second beverage. That vanilla chai went too fast. She was gone too soon. So now we have blueberry lemonade with some sparkling water and some berries. And it's delightful. I know I'm very much giving summer, what with my lemonade and my outfits. In San Diego, September and October tend to be some of our hottest months. So I really cannot come through with the fall aesthetic. I'm so sorry. If I was wearing a turtleneck in this room, I would overheat. It's going to be some time before it's going to feel appropriate to even craft a pumpkin or maple sort of drink because it's giving summer. And so that cardinal T-square builds in the later hours, so you could feel more tense, more reactive. This feels like a relevant time to mention to you that a symptom of eclipse seasonitis, which we are all navigating currently, is a desire to make very rash, impulsive decisions or actions. When you are meant to change your life during an eclipse, you will know. It will be thrust upon you. All of a sudden, you will be planning a road trip across the country in September 2025. All of a sudden, you will have no choice but to continue on in this particular path. It will be made very apparent to you. A lot of us during eclipse season, we tend to have this now or never mentality where it's like, I need to quit my job. I need to break up. I need to do all of this. And I'm not saying that that is not what the universe may be guiding you to do. All I'm saying is that eclipse season sort of dials up the volume of intensity, and there can be this desire around, I need to do it now, or just feeling like my entire life is wrong. Again, when the house is messy and the kids are being crazy and work is busy and all of these elements, sometimes we just want to get out of our lives, right? We're just like, I just want a whole new life. We all have a moment where we're like, oh, this life is a lot. And sometimes within eclipse season, I can add a layer around, well, I've got to change it. I've got to move. I need a new job. I need a new partner, like all of these things. And it's just important with eclipse season to know, okay, this might be eclipse brain talking. Let me see how I feel when I clean my house. Let me see how I feel if I go for a walk. Let me see how I feel if I eat a meal. Sometimes when you are in a more focused mind, when you're in a more anchored, nourished body, you see the situation differently, where it's like, okay, it's not that I need an entirely different life. I'm just feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling overstimulated. And sometimes we can romanticize where it is that we are not. Like, even if you were to move to Tahiti and just start a new life, there would be problems and obstacles there as well. That's just part of life. So it's just contemplating the problems that you're wanting to deal with. And so sometimes during eclipse season, we could just feel like we need to disrupt our whole life. And typically my encouragement is wait and see. See what shows up, let things settle. And then if you're still feeling this nudge around, I need to move, I need to get a new job, I need to switch industries, come October, then take it with you. Don't feel like you need to change your life all right. If you're meant to change your life, the eclipse window is open. It'll come right in, or it'll go zoom out the window. You will know. There is a difference between having an eclipse story and being eclipsed. Eclipsed is when these major changes are forced upon you, thrust upon you. And some of you probably have had eclipses where you've been eclipsed. I know. I most certainly have. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's not so good. Sometimes it seems bad in the moment, but you look back on it and you're like, that was actually a good thing. Sometimes it seems like a dream come true in the moment, and in time, the problems and issues begin to surface. Like, it's important to know that we cannot neatly categorize the things that are transpiring right now into good and bad and filing neatly into those categories. They're likely a mixture of both. But even if they are not 100% good or 100% bad, you can know if it's happening during this time, it's 100% meant to be. So that's where it's important to just trust in that, which can be maddening. You know, how messy life can be, how out of control we can feel, how much we have to surrender can be maddening. And that's where cleaning your home, organizing can bring you some peace of mind. Because if you can't control the big things, at least you can control this closet and these makeup brushes and this laundry. It gives you a sense of order, which can soothe you as you navigate. So really with the Aries moon, don't feel like you need to quit your job and dump your partner and start a new life today. See how eclipse season continues to go. and make sure that you are eating, moving your body, cleaning your home. Like, these elements of our life really does impact how we view our lives. So see how you feel after a good meal, after a good workout, after a good deep clean. On Wednesday, the 10th, the moon is in Aries for the first portion of the day, aligning with Chiron at 7:11 a.m. PDT, and the moon enters Taurus, its exaltation, at 1:03 p.m., but then going off to square Pluto in Aquarius. So let's break this down. So firstly, you should know that in the morning time, you may be feeling a little sensitive, or people around you may be feeling a little sensitive and almost overcompensating or being reactive or wanting to start a fight because they feel triggered, or even wanting to start a fight because they feel not good enough, or they feel like their insecurities are being plucked at and prodded. There can be elements of that coming up. And sometimes in that moment of being very triggered, we are tempted to react in a very knee-jerk way. Our partner criticizes us, and especially during eclipse season, it's like, fine. Breaking up with you, I'm moving to Tahiti, I'm starting a new life. And it's like, whoa. I don't think all that was necessary. But sometimes when we do feel triggered, there is this energy to react, fight or flight. Like, we all have different ways that we respond when we are triggered. And that could be alive in big and small ways in the morning time. And it's just important to know, especially if you're observing this from somebody else, somebody on your work team takes a comment that you say way too personally, or your partner is hurt because what you said about breakfast, something like this. It's just important to know that with it being eclipse season, sometimes our stories are a little bit more gentle, and thank goodness for that. It's definitely not for the weak, having your whole life turned upside down during an eclipse season. But you never know what is happening within other people's lives. It's really important to honor that, as well as if you struggle with comparison. I want to bring that up just with the ruler of the Aries moon being Mars and Libra. It's very easy to look at other people's lives and think they have it all together. Like, you could be cleaning your home and thinking like, how does Bethany and Joe and all of these people within my life, their homes are always squeaky clean. They never let things get as messy. Or seeing other parents at the park and seeing them with their kids and thinking they know exactly what to do. I'm sure they don't have mornings like we just had this morning. Like, it's very easy to see what other people allow us to see and think that we know the full story, and then be hard on ourselves in reaction to this energy around you're not good enough, you don't know how to be a mom, you don't know how to keep your home clean, like all these sensitive topics that kind of get triggered to compare ourselves with where we are in our journey and where other people are with theirs, and assuming that everybody else is just living this perfect bliss out environment where their kids don't lose their mind every so often and their houses don't get messy and chaotic. Like, we all have our stuff, right? And it can be easy to fill in the blanks from what we see from others and imagine that they're living this perfect experience. And what makes it harmful, and why I wanted to bring it up today, is with moon on Chiron, sometimes our insecurities can latch onto it around, I told you want to be a good parent, or you've always been told you're useless at this, or you're incompetent at this, and look, everybody else has it figured out. Like, sometimes we use that comparison to prod and validate our own inner insecurities. So just being conscious of that, you only see what people allow you to see. You really don't know the ins and outs of other people's lives. And you also might be feeling a little not motivated in the first portion of the day, I will say, with the moon void, of course. The moon enters Taurus, which is around anchoring, grounding, rooting. We have the Virgo sun and the moon in Taurus. Now, the Taurus moon is exalted. We love it's earthy, it's sensual, it's delightful. But it does square Pluto. This lands at 3:43 p.m. So your afternoon could feel a little tense. You could be feeling hangry or deprived in some sense, scared or fearful around money. You might lose something. You don't know where one of your belongings is. That puts you in a frenzy sort of state. And it's going to be important to ground yourself. As I said with this week's vibe check, deep cleaning did not fix all of the eclipse season chaos that is happening, but it gave you a safe harbor in order to process, integrate, and deal with it, which is the energy of having an earthy sun and earthy moon, even with that earthy moon squaring Pluto and Aquarius around. There's lots of things we cannot control. I cannot control what is happening in the world at large, but I can control if my makeup brushes are clean. I cannot control whether my kids are going to spill and make another mess here, but I can control not having to look at it every single day. Sometimes finding a semblance of control within the little things helps soothe us in feeling out of control with the big things. And it's also knowing that sometimes because those big things are looming, we take little things and make them into a big thing. If that makes sense, where if you've already had a day where you've had it and then one of the kids spills something or your partner asks you for something, it can throw you immediately into a very tense, agitated, or even like crisis sort of energy simply because of how much else is stacked with it. Plus the cosmic backdrop of it being eclipse season where everything just feels like kind of now or never. So when that comes up, it's just important to see where it is that you can soothe yourself, to breathe, open up a window, feel the breeze, make a berry lemonade, pet your cat, do something to bring you into this present moment. Because the Taurus moon squaring Pluto in Aquarius, you could be letting the fear of the future take you away from the security of the moment. You're here, you're safe, breathe, affirm this. On Thursday, the moon continues on through its exaltation of Taurus all day long, and there can be a particular pleasure in getting things done. It is Virgo season, which represents the satisfaction of an organized refrigerator, the joy at having your files properly labeled, the unique pride when you have a day and everything on your to-do list gets accomplished. We know life throws us prizes. We can have the best of plans and still be surprised, but it does feel good to have that sense of order and completion and to feel the pleasure. Again, Taurus moon is interesting pleasure of getting things done, of having a beautiful environment that you live in, of having a clean environment that you live in having your meals prepped and planned. Like, this can feel good. Allow it to feel good. And again, when we apply a bigger perspective to these micro actions, they turn into something so much bigger. And that's what keeps me on my routines, is remembering the bigger purpose, because sometimes it could feel inconsequential around, why does it matter if I go to the gym today or not? Or why does it matter if I make the salad with the ingredients that I bought from the grocery store or just go to Taco Bell? Like, why does it matter? And it's just honoring. Like, nobody is going to break into your home and arrest you if you do go to Taco Bell or if you skip the gym. Like, you're right in that it's not the end of the world if these things don't happen, but it's that ritual and what you allow it to mean around. It's not just going to the gym. It's investing in my feeling good. It's not just making a salad. It's firstly utilizing the ingredients that I bought. There is nothing more devastating than when you let a fruit or a veggie go bad. I just feel like such a failure whenever that happens. And like I said, there's a unique satisfaction in these little things, like that satisfaction when you use all of the produce that you purchase, that satisfaction when you freeze the bananas right in time so that you can use them for your smoothies. Like, there is a satisfaction within these arenas of life, and there's a satisfaction in treating yourself well. It might feel immediately more gratifying to not go to the gym or to go to Taco Bell rather than eat the salad, but there is a satisfaction around really nurturing yourself, not just your senses in that present moment, but also what's going to allow you to physically, emotionally, spiritually feel your best. You can tell when you're around people and they're very diligent about their care and keeping. They glow different, they move different, because it's like worshiping at the altar of their own higher self. So no, you will not get arrested or in trouble if you don't use all of your produce, if you don't go to the gym, but it feels good to worship at the altar of being your best self and knowing that you are worthy of devotion. That's what's kept me very consistent with my rituals, is this idea of devotion, like devoting myself to being my best self, devoting myself to wanting to feel my best day in, day out, devoting myself to loving on my body and showing that love through nutrition and movement. And so keeping that in mind may be helpful. And with the Taurus moon, it activates the energies that are building this weekend of the Mercury Cazimi on Saturday, and then Sun and Mercury sextile Jupiter on Friday. The Taurus moon basically trines Mercury, trines the Sun, and then sextiles Jupiter. So it's bringing this energy of, it feels good to take care of myself. I feel pleasure from taking care of myself. It feels not only good for my senses now, but I know tomorrow me is going to thank current me. I'm going to feel good tomorrow waking up and knowing I showed up and worked on my fitness even when I didn't feel like it last night. I ate my fruits and veggies last night. My budget and my body are thanking me for that. And that's where it gets into a ritual, like striving to thank your body. Like, thank you for this heartbeat and this breath and the senses that I'm able to feel. Thank you. Rewarding your body with things that make you feel good and energized and strong, right? Thanking your body for all that it does for you. As well as, it's Virgo season. Some of us could be working hard, having busy to-do lists. Remember to take breaks. I will say, if you're listening to this and you're like, Haley Comet, I have all this produce. I bought it optimistically with Virgo season, but now I'm feeling tempted to want to go out for oysters, something like this. The reason you're feeling that is the Taurus moon squaring Venus in Leo. And let me be so clear. Venus is in Leo. We are here to enjoy lives. I'm not saying that you need to only eat carrots every single day. If there is an occasion to celebrate or to enjoy life, by all means, take it. But I'm just saying the Taurus moon squaring Venus and Leo can sometimes bring in a little bit of going overboard, ordering all sorts of appetizers and cocktails. And again, Virgo season asks, what will tomorrow me thank me for? If I wake up with a sangria headache, I'm not going to be very happy with yesterday me. But if I wake up feeling a little sore and feeling energized, like, thank you yesterday me for making decisions that felt good. Thank you. Even just that very act of gratitude can be very medicinal and helpful for your physical body, because it's not just what we do, it's how we do it, the meaning that we assign to it. So if we eat the salad from this energy of guilt around, you're so dumb, you always let the vegetables go bad, and this is all you should eat because of A, B, and C, or at the gym on the treadmill, just like looping thoughts of self-hatred, that is what you're eating. That is what you're intaking. That is what you're moving, is that sort of loop. Same goes if you decide to treat yourself to a slice of cake and you just have moments of gratitude and really savoring that. Like, even though the cake might be kind of sugary, you're intaking that energy of gratitude. So it's just important also the mentality, the spiritual meaning that you assign to these acts. We also have Sun sextile Jupiter very early on Friday. So there definitely can be a little bit spirit of excess, and that Taurus moon squaring Venus and Leo aspect lands just before midnight at 11:59 p.m. And that paired with the Sun sextile Jupiter, there absolutely can be an energy of excess and indulgence alive within the air, but maybe it's paired with something around getting a really great workout and then springing for the cake at dessert, or having a day at work in which you kill it, you're super productive, you get a lot done, and treating yourself to a sauna, something like this, like having indulgence and appreciating it with gratitude and really savoring it, while also factoring in something productive, constructive, or that your future self will thank you for, with us being Virgo season. On Friday, the 12th, I want to let you know that shortly after midnight, the Virgo sun will sextile Jupiter in Cancer. Mercury also sextiles Jupiter in Cancer at 2:53 p.m. PDT. And the reason this happens one after the other is that tomorrow, Sun and Mercury will align at the same portion of the sky. So there absolutely could be messages given or received this weekend. Communication is going to be very, very favored. And with this Jupiter energy, there is, yes, this lens of meaning that we apply to the typical around. It's not just cleaning my home, it's nourishing my home. It's nourishing my soul by nourishing my home. It's, yes, the meaning that we attach to our workouts and our meals and our home environments, but it also is around growth and expansion and being in this trust fall of eclipse season around, I don't know what the future is going to have in store. I can't control that. And let me dial into what will make me feel good and soothed and balanced in this present moment in order to get into space around what could happen. Anything could happen. Because again, things can be good and bad at the same time. I mention that because this week, Sun and Mercury pass the South Node. And technically, if we look at this conjunction, it's gathered very close to the South Node, which makes sense. When we talk about eclipses, we talk about the North and the South Node. And with planets passing the South Node, there tends to be themes of release, which is why as you're cleaning, you're decluttering, you're letting go. That's not always as easy to do within our emotional lives, but sometimes doing it within our physical world can help. Around if you do feel a tendency to cling around when you're cleaning your home and you find these letters from your grandma and you find all of her stuff, you may want to hold on to all of it. And again, each and every one of us has to make those decisions, what it is that you want to hold on to. It's knowing that there are memories not encapsulated within those belongings. And sometimes there is a time in which we are cleaning and the stuff in our life is gathering dust. It's distracting our energy, all of this clutter, all of this stuff. And there can be something renewing around letting go. There can be something renewing around release, whether it's the peace of mind that it gives us. And it's knowing those memories live within you. Even if you do get rid of grandma's needlepoint or something like this, it's knowing like her essence, her energy is alive within you. Same goes for anyone who you have lost. They live on this planet through your essence. They're not concentrated into these material belongings. Their energy is not limited to their physical bodies. You may not have these belongings any longer, but their essence lives on, their soul lives on. And so there can be an energy around releasing things, releasing clutter, and feeling what you gain from that. You gain space, you gain focus, you gain clarity. There's gain that can come from release. You know, some of you are dealing with some sort of transition at this time. You're letting something go. You are fundamentally starting a new chapter within your life. And like I said, things can be good and bad. Mercury passing the South Node. Sometimes we don't have the utter clarity around whether to put this in the good or the bad category. It's like, it's both. So much of life is that. It's like, it's not a great experience, but I know it's eclipse season, so I know it will work out for my highest and best. Or that was not pleasant to go through, but I honor the wisdom that it gave me. There's so much of life like that. And there is an energy with Virgo South Node around really needing to surrender planning, because eclipse season, it's like serendipity and surrender is the name of the game with North Node and Pisces, as well as surrendering any sort of illusion of control. Find an illusion of control through your belongings and your domain and your sanctuary and your rituals. This can help soothe us in the interim, but know to a bigger level, things are unfolding as they're meant to, and be optimistic around what could unfold. Something even better than how you envisioned it could unfold. Like I said, I would have never imagined how this particular eclipse story would have played out for me, but it's beautiful. Again, not every element of it is great, but there's elements of it that are great. It was aligned to be this way. It was meant to be this way. And sometimes it's some of those bittersweet acknowledgments around it's not all good, it's not all bad, it's somewhere in the middle, but I can step out of it and view the higher perspective with the sextile to Jupiter. I could see how this is creating space for something aligned to come in my life. I can see how this is freeing myself from that particular season of it. I can see how letting go of stuff and clothes and belongings that no longer resonate with me is adding more peace into my home. It's adding more simplicity into my home. There's gain that can be found through release. Life is not always necessarily about addition. Sometimes it's subtraction that could be the most fruitful, that could be the most meaningful. And so honoring where that's showing up. Maybe you're cleaning your home like our protagonist. Maybe you're dealing with some sort of transition where it's like, this is a chapter of my life that's closing. I'm sad. I'm going to grieve it, but I can also hold that while anticipating what's the lesson in this? What's the gift in this? I can hold both at once. I think Virgo season wants us to categorize our lives and alphabetize everything, categorize everything, and that's just not how life unfolds. But it does feel like on Friday there could be glimmers of optimism around the future, glimmers of space and what's opening up. There's elements of it that feel like that small whisper around I'm going through some sort of job loss or a friendship breakup, but there's a small glimmer around what space is this opening up for me? What new chapter of mine is underway? And really training your brain to see it that way. If you look for the gift, if you look for the lesson, you will find it. And sometimes when we resign ourselves around this is all bad, this is the worst, we forget to look for the potential lesson. We forget to look for the gift. And so this can show up in an energy around being a bit optimistic, or again, doing something physically and tangibly, but allowing in another spiritual dimension to it, a why, a meaning. I would say resist categorizing things, organizing things, all good, all bad, or allowing yourself to dismiss your own intuition because it doesn't make sense. Honor what's feeling right. Honor what your soul is drawn to. If you go purely by the rules of physics and logic, it's just a coincidence that you found that card and read that message from your grandma at a time that you needed it the most. It's just a random occurrence that that song came on that made you cry. It's just cleaning your home. Again, you can view your life like everything is magical or nothing is magical, and it's really honoring which lens you want to utilize. I would really encourage you to tap into knowledge, information that expands your mind, that makes you feel connected to something bigger, that soothes your soul. Listen to the podcasts that soothe your soul. Listen to the YouTube creators that soothe your soul, the authors that soothe your soul. Really honor you have support around you. You have wisdom around you. You have access to so much information at your fingertips. And so honoring your soul around who you resonate with and also who you don't resonate with, that is a sign of growth. When you find that there's a certain creator, there's a certain author who has held your hand in a certain chapter of your soul's journey, when you find, gosh, their message isn't aligning, or if you're part of a church or an organization and you used to really resonate with the leader and you no longer do, again, we could view this as, this is bad, I don't resonate, I don't feel as connected, or you could view it around, oh, that means like I'm evolving. I evolve, my interests evolve, my curiosities evolve, as well as the support that I'm calling in and that I'm desiring evolves as well. Sometimes there's certain content, books, information, modalities that are meant to walk with us in a certain part of our lives. And when it's time to let it go, it's time to let it go. And our human mind can jump around, this is bad, and I'm losing myself because I don't connect to the same things. Or you could just see, like, as I release what's no longer resonating, I hold space for what will and what does. And this is a sign of growth. This is a good thing. It's bittersweet that this no longer resonates and aligns with me, but I'm also excited to see what's coming in within its space. So you might wrestle with some themes like that. And I would just really encourage you, observe what's intriguing your mind, what information, what viewpoints you are wanting to listen to and tune into. That's why within the vibe check, the protagonist, you were listening to audiobooks and all sorts of content to nourish yourself through your mind and through what it is that you are learning about. And listen, that's Virgo heaven. It's like, oh, I'm doing something productive and I'm learning about A, B, and C, and I'm investing in my higher self, and I'm learning how to quantum leap, whatever the sort of information that's aligning for you and your brain. I would encourage you this weekend to seek it out, even if things feel out of control within your life, especially when things feel out of control within your life. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb, put on some inspiring audiobooks and podcasts, either clean your home, go for a long hike, and tell me you did not feel different after that. Sometimes you just need that higher perspective, a different perspective, even a spiritual perspective with the sextile to Jupiter to help you return back to the problem. Yes, and it's probably yours to solve. It is Virgo season after all, but viewing it differently because you're different. You're in a different state of mind in order to view it and tackle it. And so with that, Friday does feel productive. And like I said, there's a unique pleasure in getting things done and handling things, especially with these Jupiter aspects. Add the meaning to what it is that you're doing. Again, it's not that you have to meet with this client. You get to meet with this client. It's not that you have to go grocery shopping. You get to go grocery shopping. Working the muscle of gratitude is also important. It is a gift to have a body to move. It is a gift to have a home to clean. It is a gift to have the resources to buy groceries. Don't forget that. And really be mindful when you are complaining, especially with the Mercury Cazimi over the weekend. The moon is in Taurus in the first portion of the day. It's sextile Saturn in Pisces, so there definitely could be an energy around getting things done, making decisions that will make future you proud. The moon is then void. The moon enters Gemini at 2:38 p.m., which we love because right before 3 p.m. is when the ruler of the Gemini moon, Mercury, who is exalted in Virgo, sextiles Jupiter. So there's lots of nice Mercury energy. So this also could be helpful for brainstorming, collaborating, planting seeds, and seeing where could this go? Dreaming with someone, brainstorming, collaborating with someone, especially with the Gemini moon sextile Neptune in Aries. What could this be? Being curious around what could be. The Gemini moon does align with Uranus in the afternoon, so you might get a surprising email, a surprising curveball to your weekend plans. It's eclipse season, kind of expect the unexpected, but the Gemini moon trines Pluto in Aquarius. So knowing you can handle this, you are strong, you are resilient, and if there is an energy around, I don't know how to do this, I don't know if I can do this, it's really important to know I will learn. Kind of tied with that comparison conversation that we had earlier, we tend to see other people and think, oh, they're just naturally really good at parenting, or they just naturally have the best marriage ever, or they just naturally are good at their job, or have you. But it's like we all start somewhere, and there's not like a set limit of our life in which we learn. We're always learning. So you could learn different strategies from those that you admire, from those that you collaborate and connect with. Like you could learn how this person gets the job done in such a quick amount of time, or how this person cooks. We tend to think, oh, everybody's just naturally good at this and I'm bad at this, but it's really honoring I could learn this if I wanted to. It's not counting yourself out. It's not thinking that you have a set limit around, because I didn't learn to do this when I was younger, or because I'm not naturally good at this means I could never get better at it. If you devote yourself to it, if you show up for it, like Virgo season is a reminder of that our life will be a sum of the decisions that we make day to day. So if you make a decision that you want to learn this, that you want to work on this, you will get better at it. You will. It may take hard work and consistency, but you will get better at it, or get shrewder, get more intelligent, get more skilled. On Saturday, September 13th, around 3 a.m., the Virgo sun will align with Mercury in Virgo. And you may have some illuminating conversations this weekend, a message sent or received this weekend. Some of it can be a message of something where it's time to let it go in some regard. Like this would be the energy around looking through the belongings and getting the message from the birthday card, but recognizing, okay, it's time to release grandma's sweater. It's time to release these baby clothes that my kids no longer fit into. Like again, you could feel the moment and feel the layers of emotion within, and then taking that opportunity to let it go, just with this conjunction landing so near the South Node. Or there could be a conversation that's a little uncomfortable for you. You may have to say something that you're not happy with, or something that you want fixed or improved, or something that is on your mind that you need to share. Again, Mercury in Virgo does support us with clarity. I do want to say things can be a little murky this week around messages, just because of Mercury's proximity to the sun, and the South Node is getting burnt up by the sun and sucked away by the South Node. There can be an energy around needing to lead with your soul, because again, your mind will play tricks on you. You can get a gut instinct, then your mind, the voice of fear, can come in right after, and you can believe that voice instead. But I do feel like this weekend there can be an energy around a message coming in, an illuminating conversation, and aha. You'll want to look at the Virgo territory of your chart to see where that could potentially be coming in. And it may bring about something that you're ready to let go of, that you're ready to surrender. South Node is considered actually a very spiritual point. And so there can be an energy around, I'm going to deem this bad, but I'm just going to surrender to the universe. Or this was my plan, but I'm just going to be in the space of surrender. There just could be something like this, or getting a little bit of information that may not be ideal, but surrendering it to spirit around, it's out of my hands, it's bigger than me, or communicating a certain problem and just kind of handing it over to the universe around, okay, we'll see what transpires from here. Because it's important to know that we do need to voice things. We do need to communicate things. If something's bothering you and you're not saying it, and the eclipse season energy just makes you want to flee before even specifying it, it's important to know that not everybody's in your brain. So if you're having a certain issue with an employee that you hired and you're not voicing it, rather than just deciding, okay, that didn't work, it's like important to give people an opportunity to change their behavior or to address the issue or something like this. There even just could be a conversation around a problem that needs to be resolved, whether it's the lack of organization or even just like the surrender over controlling a certain problem. Maybe it's saying something around, this is what I think about it, and then I've got to let it go, because I cannot get involved. It's not my circus. It's not my monkeys. Something that you could have a energy like that come about this weekend, but definitely remaining open for messages that drop in. Even as you're working out, as you are cooking, as you are watering your plants, spirit talks to you within these mundane moments, truly. A way that I distinguish the voice of intuition and fear is when it comes in. I really trust the downloads, the ahas that come in when I'm doing my favorite things, when I feel the closest to God. And that for me is walking in nature and cleaning. Can you tell I'm a Virgo moon? That's when I feel the closest to the divine, in nature or cleaning. And I trust what I receive during those times. If I'm fearful, if I'm in a lot of people's energy and it's feeling kind of chaotic, obviously I'm going to be more plugged into fear and worry and worst case scenario. When you're fully in an energy that feels good, listen to the voice that surfaces in those moments. I do want to highlight Virgo can be a little anxious. It can be nervous. It can be having an issue come up and assuming all of the worst case scenarios of it. And again, if your nervous system is already fried, if your mind is already overstimulated, of course, you're going to go to the worst case scenario. Again, it's going to be important to ground into your physical body or get out in nature, get out into where it is that you feel the closest with the divine in order to really hear the voice of intuition that often surfaces when you are balanced, when you are in awe, when you are in places of beauty. And we have a Mercury ruled sun, we have a Mercury ruled moon. So your mind can feel all over the place. Like I said, your phone might be blowing up or just like a lot of social media activity is happening, which is why I encourage, especially if you're already feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated, a day cleaning your home and not looking at your phone all day. I'm telling you, that will also reset because eclipse season is very active altogether, and being very plugged into other people's opinions and thoughts around what you should do and how you should do it does not help to tune into the voice of spirit that can very well be surfacing this weekend. On Sunday, September 14th at 3:33 a.m. PDT, love that, love an angel number, we have the last quarter moon in Gemini, which is called the crisis of spirit lunar phase. The moon is halfway between its fullest illumination, the lunar eclipse in Pisces, and next week's solar eclipse. So we're in that halfway point. Hopefully you have your solar eclipse in Virgo forecast. I really think I'm giving that over to the universe. You know, eclipse season, especially this combination, is really like let go and let God. So hopefully that forecast will be available for you to sharpen into focus what is building with the solar eclipse in Virgo. But again, last quarter moon, those themes of surrender and letting go that I was speaking of, there is this energy around letting something go, but taking the lesson with it. With the last quarter moon in Gemini, honoring what you learned, honoring how that sharpened your mind, honoring how that even initiated you into a new topic. You know, a lot of us get more into spirituality, get more into astrology, get more into tarot, what have you. A lot of us, our initiation into those sort of things is going through a tough time. And we can honor that was horrible to go through, but I got a gem of finding astrology, finding human design, finding this, finding that, honoring what you learned from it. Let go of what transpired, keep the lesson. And there can be an energy around reaching some sort of emotional or spiritual crisis. And within the vibe check, there was an element of crisis. Like before the cleaning began, it was like my life feels like it's in shambles. Everything feels out of control. And that's where those activities that bring you back to your soul are even more important around. I've got to clean. I've got to tune in. I've got to hike. I've got to do something that brings me into my own space and allows me to hear my soul speak. With the energy of moon in Gemini, you can feel like there's a lot of people and a lot of opinions and a lot of perspectives, and you're going to burn yourself out trying to please everyone. It's important to tune in and to go in the direction of what feels right to you. It may not make sense to other people, but it feels right to you. And I mention that because the Gemini moon also squares Mercury in Virgo after it squares the Virgo sun. So again, you can have a hard time sleeping or feel very pulled in many different directions, battle of the head of the heart, or what this person thinks you should do. Or even to a very mundane level, like what you want to do with your Sunday around. I could do this. I have this precious day off. What is it that I want to do with it? Honoring what you feel interested in with the Gemini moon, what you're curious about. Honoring who you want to connect with the Gemini moon sextile Venus and Leo in the morning, or what sounds good, even what sounds good to make for breakfast, or gosh, I want to go to the ocean, or I want to see the trees. If you get a certain nudge of inspiration, act on it with the Gemini moon trining Mars in Libra at 8:41 a.m. So if you feel a nudge around, I want to hike, I want to go to the gym, I want to reorganize my closet. Listen, you got to grab hold of those moments when you feel like doing something, because you won't always get a nudge where you're like, I want to organize, I want to do laundry. You got to grab it as it comes up. As well as with the energy of Gemini moon, maybe you could listen to an audiobook as you do so, or listen to a podcast. Again, feeding the mind while taking care of the practical matters that can soothe and ground the body. Can be a nice energy to plug into this weekend. The Gemini moon does sextile Chiron in Aries at 11:06 a.m. So you might find a certain podcast, YouTube video, book that just hits right where it hurts, but it hurts so good. because it's like, oh, I'm not the only one who's gone through something like this. I'm not the only one who feels this way. And the Gemini moon squares Saturn in Pisces at 3:46 p.m. PDT, which can, of course, be the gut punch of the Sunday scaries around, oh, I have to go back to school tomorrow. I got to go back to work tomorrow. Do I have to? Or even just being in this analysis paralysis around what you did not get done this weekend, around, oh, I should have meal prepped more. I should have cleaned more. There's always going to be more. Remember to be proud of what it is that you did, especially with Venus and Leo. The moon is then void until it enters its domicile of Cancer at 5:30 p.m. And the Cancer moon, of course, draws our awareness to nourishing the home and the family unit. And you may find some belongings that make you get lost down memory lane. The Cancer moon will square Neptune in Aries, looking at your grandma's belongings as you're cleaning, looking at old love letters as you're cleaning, and just knowing the memories stay within your heart. It's not concentrated within these belongings. So if you're like, this is taking up space, it's cluttering my closet and thus cluttering my mind, there may be a nudge to let it go. The memories live on within your heart. The person that you become because of those experiences lives on. The legacy of certain individuals who are no longer in your life still lives on through your being, what you learned from them, what you got from them, how parts of you are reminiscent of them lives on. So it's knowing that this experience is not neatly concentrated into belongings, and there may be an energy of getting lost down memory lane. Bring yourself back. It's Virgo season. Right here, right now. Ground, breathe, move, nourish. So my loves, that is your week, and your Magic Monday mantra of the week to support you in navigating it is, I maintain what is sacred. Virgo draws our awareness to the maintaining of life, the maintaining of our health, the maintaining of cleanliness, the maintaining of our work and our fitness, just all of the things that we need to do in order to keep the various components of our life running smoothly. And I know it's not always the sexiest, it's not always the most exciting, but it is so beautiful to allow your everyday existence and your decisions within it to pay tribute to the pursuit of becoming your higher self and being your best self. It's beautiful to take good care of things, taking good care of your body, taking good care of your home, honoring what is. We can say, universe, I want more and more. And the universe can look at you and say, how are you taking care of what you already have? This physical body you have, this home you have, this car you have, the pets that you have. How is it that you are honoring and paying tribute to what exists currently? And honoring that is the baseline to anything that you are wanting to call in or invite in. As I mentioned, cleaning is a ritual, and any sort of spell work will not be successful if we do not have a cleanly environment to start as a baseline. And I know some of you live with other people, and maybe you don't have full control over the cleanliness of your home. And I'm not saying everything needs to be spick and span. If you live with kids or things like that, of course, it's not going to be perfect. And Virgo wants us to release this notion of perfection. But it's really honoring the virtue of cleanliness and however that shows up around really honoring our own hygiene. It could just be a shower, or you could literally see that as an energetic ritual of sweeping away other people's energy. There's a reason you get downloads and insights in the shower, because you're literally washing away other people's energy and able to hear your soul speak. Again, it's in those micro moments. You do not need to fly across the country and go to a retreat in order to hear your soul speak. It's in those mundane moments. Most of your life will be the Monday drive to work and the shower and the deep cleaning and the meals. What are you making it mean? What is the energy that you are encasing within it? And are you listening? Are you present? Are you mindful? Are you aware? Are you maintaining these elements of your life with a grateful heart? This week is a great week to try. So in honor of eclipse season and this extra, this just in breaking news sort of energy of eclipse season and any sort of message or news that may come about this weekend, our emoji of the week will be the newspaper emoji. Drop that below if you are somewhere where you were able to comment. If you don't have emojis, use the word newspaper. That's just a fun little game that we play. Just let me know that you made it to the end. My Instagram handle is at Haley Comet Astrology. My TikTok is the same. I would so love to connect with you over there. And until we meet again, I'll see you here in the cosmic corner of the internet. Same time, same place next week. And until then, drink lots of water and stay magical.